All right, everyone, this is going to be our second set of notes for macronutrients. So you can tack this on to the first piece where we did carbohydrates, or you can start a new page, but we are now going to be talking about proteins. So our second macronutrient is proteins. Okay, there's a couple things about proteins that we're going to go through. First, we're going to talk about the structure of those molecules. They are long chains of repeating, long chains of repeating amino acids. Okay, so there are lots of types of amino acids, and they are put together in different ways to make different kinds of proteins. Once you have this big long chain of amino acids all put together, it folds up and creates this crazy shaped thing. That is what the protein is. And the shape is usually specific to a certain task. Okay, so long chains of repeating amino acids. This makes proteins polymers. Okay, so we talked about polymers again in the last unit, and polymers are long molecules made of repeating subunits, and those subunits are called monomers. So proteins are polymers, and their monomers are amino acids. All right, B. These chains fold up. These chains fold up into complicated shapes. These chains fold up into complicated shapes that allow proteins to do very specific tasks in our bodies. These chains fold up into complicated shapes that allow proteins to do very specific tasks in our bodies. All right, so like I said, they're made out of amino acids. We have to get those amino acids from somewhere. Now, our bodies can make a lot of amino acids from scratch. So you could eat anything that has carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, okay, maybe a couple of other elements in there, but anything that you eat, you can break that down into individual atoms and then put those atoms together in a different way to create an amino acid. But there are some that we cannot make. And so we have to eat those in order to get them into our bodies. Otherwise, we won't be able to make the proteins that need those amino acids. That piece of the chain will be missing. So our bodies cannot make all of the amino acids we need. Our bodies cannot make all of the amino acids that we need. So we must eat proteins. We must eat proteins to get these, and I'm going to underline the next word, essential amino acids. To get these essential amino acids. Well, goodness gracious. Having some formatting issues here. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit OCD, so I need to just have things look nice. And so I'm just going to change this. All right, thank you. Okay, thanks for being patient with me. So those are essential amino acids. And just below this, we're going to just put a little star. Oops. The word essential, we're going to define that, okay? Our bodies cannot make it. From scratch. So we can't just take atoms and put them together to make certain amino acids. We have to get those in our diets and then reuse those amino acids to make proteins that we need, okay? Okay, next piece, and we're going to see that word essential later, so just make sure that you keep that in mind when we get to some future notes. But let's talk about calories. So all proteins give us 4 calories of energy. All proteins give us 4 calories of energy per gram that we eat. And that's the same number as carbohydrates. So carbohydrates give us 4 calories per gram. Proteins give us 4 calories per gram. However, proteins take more work. Proteins take more work to digest. They are our body's last choice for energy. They are our body's last choice for energy. Now, I know that we're talking about these second. We did carbohydrates. Those are the first choice. Absolutely easiest thing to get energy from. And I know we're doing protein second. They're the last choice for energy. So hopefully you can guess that when we get to fats, they're going to be our second choice for energy out of the 3 macronutrients. Okay. They are our body's last choice for energy. We use proteins to get amino acids. And only for energy in an emergency. Okay, we only use proteins for energy in an emergency. So if you have no other energy source in your body, we will start to use those proteins. And an example of that would be starvation. Okay, you have a lot of body fat. Even if you're a skinny person, you have a lot of body fat stores that you just don't even see. Okay, so that is absolutely where your body's going to go for energy before you go to protein. When your body starts digesting protein for energy, that means that it's digesting its own muscles in order to get energy. And that happens in starvation. So it is not common that we actually utilize energy from protein. Okay. All right. How do we digest proteins? It's not like carbohydrates. It's not super simple. In order to digest proteins, our stomach acid changes their shapes. Our stomach acid changes their shapes. Then enzymes in the small intestine. Okay, so our stomach acid changes their shapes. Then enzymes in the small intestine break them down. Saliva does not. I'm not supposed to say saliva. Saliva does not digest proteins. So you can chew up a cracker and you can start to feel it digesting into sugars in your mouth. Okay, again, carbohydrates digest super quickly. They turn into sugars really fast, except for fibers. Okay, but when you chew up a piece of protein, piece of beef jerky or something, it is not going to start digesting in your mouth. So it'll just sit there in a chewed up state. You have to swallow it. You have to get into that acidic environment. And that even doesn't do it. It changes the shapes of the proteins. Then they pass through into your small intestine. And then enzymes that are in the small intestine start to pull those proteins apart. And we can get those amino acids in your system, excuse me, and use them to make proteins of our own. Okay. Okay, let's talk about eating extra protein. So excess protein. Let me scroll down so you can see this a little better. Excess protein. That means more than what you need. Okay, if you eat more protein than your body needs, that's excess. Excess protein passes through your system. Passes through your system. Yes, that means you poop it out. Okay. It is not like carbohydrates. Remember, think back to that. If you have too much sugar, your brain sends signals to your pancreas. Your pancreas makes insulin and puts that out in your body. Your insulin tells your liver to start pulling that sugar out of your bloodstream, and you turn it into fat. You turn it into your own body fat storage. That does not happen with protein, okay? It passes through your system. It does not get turned into fat storage. It does not get turned into fat storage like excess sugars do. Okay. All right, last thing, where do we get protein from? So in our diets, proteins come from lots of places, okay? Meat, dairy, eggs, nuts, cheese, beans. Okay, you're gonna get little bits in other places, but those are major sources of protein. If you notice, most of those are animal-based. So vegetarians have to actually be pretty careful. They have to make sure that they eat a variety of plant-based proteins in order to make sure, well, I guess I should say vegans, because vegetarians can eat eggs and cheese. That can help them. But if you're a vegan and you won't eat any animal product, okay, you have to make sure that you're getting nuts, you're getting beans. There's other sources that are plant-based that have small amounts of protein in them. And it's important that you get a variety because of this. Essential amino acids. If you do not eat anything that has one of our essential amino acids, your body will start to lose function because you're going to be missing the key tool to make a complete protein. So if you are a vegan, make sure that you're eating the correct proteins from your plants in order to make sure you have all those essential amino acids. There's also supplements that you can buy that will make sure you get all of those essential amino acids in a pill, and then you don't have to worry too much about it. So just wanted to throw that out there, but that is the end of our protein notes, and we will do some notes on fats later. So we'll see you in class.